Teens in our community don't always have a safe, positive place to gather after school or on weekends. Many students say they're looking for fun, affordable activities and opportunities to learn real-world skills, but there isn't enough spaces designed just for the youth.
This is why we created the Hive. That way we can make sure that our youth thrives and that way they can live out their purpose that they have for their lives. The Hive is a youth facility that offers a safe, creative, and engaging environment where teens can connect, learn, and grow. Our facility includes ideas for entrepreneurship workshops, sports and recreation, creative arts, and mentoring programs. Students can explore interests, start small businesses, build leadership skills in a space designed by youth for youth.
Our project teaches and models entrepreneurship. We provide a safe, youth-led environment where teens can learn new skills, collaborate, and explore their potential, something that schools and traditional community centers don't fully offer. Our facility stands out because it's created and operated by students, designed to reflect the needs and culture of local youth.
The Hive is a vibrant, youth-driven, creative hub where innovation, collaboration, and imagination come alive. Designed as a space inspired by teens and guided by mentors, the Hive empowers young creators to explore their passions in music and audio production, video and media, art and design, technology and coding, and career development all under one cape.
The Hive focuses on ages 8 to 21. At the Hive, students don't just learn, they lead. With support from experienced mentors, local schools, colleges, artists, and technical professionals, participants gain real-world skills while building meaningful connections that open doors for their future opportunities.
Whether you're laying down a new beat, designing digital art, coding your first app, or just unwinding in our chill zone, the Hive is where the creativity meets community. It's more than a workspace, it's a movement buzzing with ideas, collaboration, and growth.
We're moving on. This is the membership fees that is going to apply to the Hive. You can opt for no membership, which you would pay for each individual class you would take and attend. You can do a monthly membership, which is $25 a month, and yearly, which is $250 a year. We know poverty is a big problem in Eastern Kentucky and in our area, so we're offering assistance to youth. We currently have 10 sponsors from local churches, and we're actively seeking more support. We want to be able to provide for each child that can't provide for themselves.
Business and investors have offered to donate money and materials, and the building is already equipped with a basketball court and a batting cage. That way people can come and practice if they want to. And we'll also offer tournaments for revenue, and our concession will also bring in some money. And this is our estimated monthly and yearly cost that we will spend on the building. So we have electricity, water, Wi-Fi, insurance, heating and cooling, and a phone bill. And we took all that into account when figuring out how much we would make off of the Hive.
Here are our sponsors. We will partner with local colleges such as Big Sandy and the University of Pikeville, local companies and franchises to provide workshops and activities. We plan to have a career fair for teens to explore careers and get feedback on specific classes that we would want to have at the Hive. And on our slide, we have a bunch of different businesses, and we've talked to most of them about what they can help provide for the Hive. And some are just donating money. We have some that are donating or really bringing classes into the Hive to help us with our workshops. Some of them are, like we have a towing coming in doing a tire changing class because everybody needs to know how to change a tire. Some art classes. We have a bunch of different restaurants that have offered to cater once a month, so we don't have to bring out a bunch of money for food, so that's really helpful for us as well. And this is our revenue. We will get money from, like she mentioned earlier, the monthly fees, which we said will be $25 a month. Our after-school programs, which is fees for entrepreneurship classes, tutoring, the art and music workshops, or leadership clubs. Sports and leagues, the fitness classes, we will have low-cost team registration fees, which we can also use as fundraisers since we have a basketball court in the building already. Sponsor walls or banners where local businesses can donate in exchange for logo replacements in our facility. An adopt-a-room sponsorship where we could have the Pepsi music room where the room would be decorated. And business mentoring programs where local companies pay a small partnership fee to run career workshops or sponsor challenges.
Here is our hours of operation. Monday through Friday, we are going in right after school, 3:30 to 8, so, kids can come join us after school, and on Saturday, 11 to 8. Sunday's currently closed, but we want to eventually offer a youth worship service because we want everything to be rooted in faith and teach kids about Jesus. And you may be wondering how the kids are going to get to and from the youth facility. We've had churches offer to use their church vans and buses to help transfer children from their schools to the Hive only on weekdays. We also are going to talk to the local schools and see if the school buses can drop kids off from the school bus to the Hive. We'll also have workers as well as volunteers. Volunteers will be from high school and college students. This is a perfect opportunity for applying to college and to put on their resumes.
This is a survey that we did to see to get a gauge on how interested the youth was, and 70.2% of the survey participants has never attended youth centers or community spaces, and we really want to change this because the Hive will be closer to our area, and especially because Pike County is really spread out, there's haulers everywhere, there's all kinds of people just spread out all over the place, so it's kind of hard for people to get from place to place and be there at a good time. That way they can have time to do stuff. So with the Hive, we hope that this will bring this youth facility closer to the people who are more spread out and give them the opportunity to be able to express themselves with other people around their age.
We also know that the Hive comes with risks. Some of the risks that we'll see from that is the participant injuries, but we're covering that with some insurance and liability waivers. We'll also see a burnout risk. Kids get bored really easy, and if you're repeatedly doing the same thing over and over, they're not going to want to come back all the time. So we're always going to have different activities, a variety, so they can do something different every time, and they want to keep coming back. We also see the competitive pressure specifically from the YMCA, but we see the difference and we have the competitive advantage there because we are so much closer to the kids from our area than the YMCA. We also offer so many more activities than the YMCA would offer.
Here's our profit. Based on our pricing and participation estimates, the Hive would generate roughly $31,000 in annual revenue. We took in account from our youth memberships, which we think would bring around $18,000 per year, while after-school programs and workshops would add another $5,000. Sports leagues and fitness classes may contribute approximately $1,500, and sponsors and sponsor walls or banners could provide $2,000. Additional funding from adopt-a-room sponsorships and businesses mentor partnerships could bring around $4,500 combined. So after we subtracted all of that, we would come out with $20,500.
I also wanted to mention that you might be wondering where our building's coming from. But we've made an agreement with the people with the building, their family friend, that we'll use the building at first for low cost and then start renting it as we start getting it up and getting it running.
This youth facility isn't just a building. It is an investment in the future. It's where young people will discover their talents, learn real business skills, and build confidence to become the leaders our community needs. With your support, you can turn ideas into impact and dreams into action. Thank you so much for supporting the Hive.
We have a website
If you
as
want
well.
us to pull it up.
We can pull it up on the computer.
website.
Let me pull it up.
Here's our website. If you wanted to take the time to read it, we just have a little introduction. Then we have a little, it goes on about what we offer and all the different workshops and classes that kids will be able to take, our location and contact information. Of course, meet the team, us three, our hours of operation, and we have a QR code for people to scan, and there's a survey on here that they can fill out if they want to join the Hive.
Okay. I have a few questions. Now, which age groups are you trying to target?
8 to 21 years old.
8 to 21?
Yep.
And do you know how many people are in that age group that you're targeting as far as approximate number of students slash, because college is in there?
Mhm.
Do you know how many there are that you're targeting?
Estimated around 50 students per month.
But the population area is how many students total?
I don't think we got to that far because our county is so spread out, and we're mainly focused on our side of the county, so it's not the whole entire county, but we didn't get that number yet.
Okay, because your hours are from 3:30 to 8, okay?
Yes.
So in the afternoon, after school?
And a lot of the students will come from middle schools and elementary schools after school.
Gotcha.
And having such like a wide age, it can allow people to bring their little siblings too, because a lot of people like our age, they are responsible for taking care of their little siblings, so they don't get to do as much stuff after school. But if they have an area where they can bring their little siblings, they can do what they want to do, and their little siblings can also get some time to work on their development.
And although, like, it's ages 8 to 21, if there was a problem and somebody like 14 wanted to come and they have to watch their 4-year-old little sibling, we're looking into, investing and letting them bring their little sibling along just in that circumstance.
Gotcha. Can you go back to your expenses on your slide deck? So this building you've already got targeted?
Mhm.
In your electricity bill, you're estimating to be $100 to $300 a
Yeah,
month?
this was also before it snowed for 2 months and the power bill shot up, so this.
I was
it's probably not
gonna say,
as
because
accurate
my
now.
electric bill in my tiny little apartment was 150, and I don't know what size your building is, but I think you're way off on your electricity bill. I'm not sure what, am I crazy?
Is it electric or gas?
Pretty sure electric.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more than that. Okay, I'm not crazy. Okay. And you mentioned volunteers and employees. How many employees are you planning on having?
I think we're more so just looking for the volunteers. I feel like we'll be the main employees here, and you have volunteers from different businesses coming in too to help. I don't know, probably
I'd say around 3 employees.
3 like employees, and the rest will probably be volunteers.
And we want to have enough like in each age group, that way like the 8-year-old, like 8 to 12 are doing their own thing that will help them, because if they're mixed in with the other older kids, it's not really going to benefit them that well. So if we have enough people to have 3 separate groups, it'll be good for.
And we aren't looking for a whole lot of employees right now because we're just starting out, and I think the turnout will get bigger as we go along, and as we go along, we'll get more employees.
I didn't see any employee expenses added into your costs, because employees are very, very expensive. And I'm not sure your profits, when you talked about your profits versus, profit margins, I don't know if you're paying yourselves as employees or
No,
not.
I think we would count ourselves more as volunteers, and then, like we said, as we grow, we will get employees, because when we're still in high school, we would really be counting ourselves as volunteers, and we could put that on our resumes.
Okay, so 100% volunteers initially? Okay, that makes more sense. And how many classes are you going to be offering initially?
It will really vary, like each week, because we have different businesses coming in. We will more than likely have one every single day, but they'll be different. So it'd be like 5 a week.
And how will you determine you talked about people who can't afford, do you have an application process for how you will determine who gets free versus not, or a scaling fee, or how that's going to work?
We have a Google form. Do you want to pull that up as well?
I can if you want to.
We asked questions like about transportation, if you needed transportation after school, and if you can afford the fee, and if not, there's an option to put, and then if they don't, that's whenever we would contact our partners and ask about the collaborations we have.
And of course, if they said that they needed support, we'd go through a process and make sure that, they're not just saying this because they don't want to pay for it. But, yeah.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have.
Good job with your presentation. I have just a couple questions about the facility itself. You said it has basketball court, has batting cages. Do you have like a classroom area as well, or would you just set that up in, is it all an open space? How is your building laid out?
Right now, it's like one big open space, and there is like one classroom setting, and this is what we will start out with, but as we grow, we just want to get an estimate of how many is coming, and then once we start growing is when we'll start expanding and adding to our building.
And the people that are donating it for you to use it at first, are they covering your insurances, your liability, and things like that, or do y'all have to raise that money?
They will cover most of everything at first because that's what they offered to do, and then they told us as we grow, and then they'll kind of give it back to us.
Again, you guys did a wonderful job. I do like the idea because you are correct, you will compete with the YMCA, but, you're still 30, 35 minutes away, so I think it definitely is a good idea. The only question I have is like, when you were basing your profits, what did you use to estimate the participation that you would have?
When we estimated the participation, we essentially, asked kids at school and stuff, like, how if they would be interested. Like in that survey, too, we showed the 70.2% have never been there, but in another part of the survey, it was asking, like, what kids, would like to see and what they would like to do. And a lot of the kids at our school and our community, said that they would like to have an art class or have a music class and just, would like to be more involved.
Okay. And I did like the involvement of the businesses in your community who are willing to come out and teach, so good job.
Thank you.
A couple things. In terms of your partners, have you considered working with the Cooperative Extension Service in Pike County? They have a bevy group of volunteers, and there's a fine arts agent, I believe, 4-H and youth development. They have a master gardener program that teaches people certified master gardeners that could teach youth. So that's one question.
We have not, but it is definitely something that we would like to look into.
Could be a valuable resource, and these people are paid, or they're volunteers that are highly committed. Second question I have is, it seems to me, and so I want you to challenge me back. It seems to me that your mission is so broad. It ranges from sports to art to all kinds of things. And I'm wondering if you want a more focused mission on creativity. And you also talked about this will be a venue for people to think about creating their own businesses. So it seems the mission is so broad and maybe unfocused. That's the challenge I want to raise. Challenge me back.
Since we are just kind of getting a gauge on how many people are there and how many people are interested, that's why we kind of have it broad right now. And then once we see the interest in each of the different categories, that's when we'll kind of hone in on one thing. Because right now, we have so many people coming, we're like, we don't really know what they want, So if we could just figure out the pinpoints on what they really want to focus on, then that's when we'll kind of narrow it down and start putting more into a couple categories instead of putting a little bit into a lot.
I also think it's so broad right now too because, you know, as we said before, this is more so people can find their purpose and their worth because in our community, you know, like we said, they go to other things and they opt out to other things. And everybody's so different. So somebody that likes art and somebody that likes, you know, sports is so different. So if we were really like not as broad, what if they didn't find their passion and we didn't help them achieve their goal and that would not achieve our goal?
And depression is also a huge part in our area, and we just want everybody to get together. And we're all so different, but we're all so much alike too. You know, two people at our school that think they're so different could come to this community center and realize that they're so much alike and everybody, you know, can get along and it's just a safe place for everyone to come.
So if I hear you, part of your mission is to affirm their dignity and their
Yes.
worth as human beings.
Yes.
And also to look at the future that they want. You also talked about their wants or their needs, but I'm looking at an old Rolling Stones song. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you'll get what you need. And their wants and needs may be different. Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your presentation. I enjoyed it. I have a couple of questions. My first kind of speaks to the broadness of your mission and the offerings that you would have. And I was just curious how you came up with those different activities. If there are things that you've heard expressed, you know, that your peers would like to participate in that don't already exist in the community. I was just curious about that. And also if these were things that just you currently couldn't find already being offered. That's my first question.
So I really think that I'm trying to think. I think that a lot of things aren't offered in our area. And like I said, like, you know, and at our school we have art classes, and at our school we have music classes, and we have all these sports programs and stuff, but that's not always like exactly what they're looking for. I feel like a lot of kids to participate in art class and they have all these skills and talents and they work so diligently and it's never seen, and then they lose that sense of worth in their art capabilities and their music capabilities. And I just think that getting it more broad and allowing people to find other people who like the same things as them is really helpful and will really help with like their self-worth and finding their purpose.
Yeah, thank you. I like that answer. I also had a question about your building. In the last slide, was that a picture of the actual building that you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay. Does it need any renovation to be habitable for something like this that's going to be open to the public? Does it have adequate parking and things like that?
Right now, it's just grass, which is fine, especially, you know, we're getting into the warmer weather, so that will be okay for now. But again, as we expand, you know, we would look for pavement and to make it more applicable with parking spots and stuff. But for now, I think what we have will be good for what we're going into.
Okay, I would challenge you to look a little bit more into that because those are upfront capital costs that could be very prohibitive to using that space, and you might consider finding a building that is already in use for those types of services, even potentially, you know, the YMCA or some other building here, maybe at the college or rooms where you could begin your mission before moving on to having all of these large upfront costs. That's just something to think about.
On the curriculum side, are you all developing curriculum, or are the business partners the ones that kind of help with the pathways for your programs?
I think more so the business partners.
Okay. And then where are you, like, realistically? Is this like theoretical, or have you all actually hung out at this building and had people come over and do things already?
We've hung out at this building, but it's been more of just little hangouts. We go and play basketball and stuff like that, and we see the vision when we're there, and we're like, wow, this could really turn into something bigger than what it is.
So, like, what are your immediate next steps then for what you're doing in the space there? Just continue to hang out, open it up to more like friends and wider community and let people come, or?
I think we start to advertise it more. You know, once we get everything settled, we advertise it and we tell people at our school and tell people at all our feeder schools and everybody in the county and just hope that more people will come and we can make it bigger than it is.
Cool. Well, it's cool to hear that you're already using the space and that you're doing something. I think that's compelling, and like conveying that in an opportunity like this, right? To say that you're already actively kind of working on this. I think the like activity center versus like pathway is like an important distinction, and like people are kind of hitting on that and what that actually looks like. And that seems like a real opportunity to me, is like, what does it actually look like to create a pathway that's like structured for somebody, you know, in our region coming to you at 4 years old or 8 years old, all the way up to 21, and how can those like pairings between, you know, the businesses and the other folks that you have that are attending there really help each other to like move forward in an impactful way. Seems like an opportunity. But anyway, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.